So Craig, one of the questions we get all the time is what is the true cost of building a custom home? And does Winthrop really cost more than someone else that maybe is a custom builder, maybe not? Or do we just have more things included because we know what it takes to build a custom home?
We do. Scott, you're absolutely right. We hear that all the time. But we've got steps in our process that will make it more efficient and you're getting the home, your forever home that you want. And we're at a true cost that is going to come in lower than other builders.
And I think you made a good point right there at the beginning is that because of our process and because of all the questions we ask, the questionnaire that we send right at the beginning, it allows us to know exactly what they're looking for. So a lot of the other builders, they'll just say, well, pick from one of these drawings or I'll send you to an architect or designer and then bring it back and we'll design you bid
price
build.
And see, oh, you know what? We can't even build this house on this lot because it won't fit. So imagine going through that expense and no one has thought to look through that to see if it can even be built there. And then that's money wasted.
Yeah. And then they're redesigning the house but I do think that our process allows us to really understand what people are looking for in their house. So we're including a lot more items that another builder may not even know to ask, or they don't find out until construction starts.
And we start asking those questions day one, thinking about the entire project from start to finish.
Yep. Which is why we do design build all in-house, engineer, interior designer, and we're able to keep everything all within our team.
It just flows right through.
Yeah, yeah. Rather than what a lot of other builders do, and architects and designers, which is we'll design it, send it out for bid, get the bids back. What happens, we know a very high percentage of the time, it doesn't work in the budget. And so what are we doing during that whole process while you're working through those preliminary drawings?
It's a lot more efficient working through the entire project. It's not starting and stopping with the architect handing it off to the next group.
The engineer or whoever else needs to, yep. We're thinking it through, and then also we're giving pricing that is in a budget range, but they understand where they are before you go on to the next change and maybe things that they want to do.
We're building every day, so we're using real-time numbers from similar projects and getting pricing and incorporating that in as we're designing so that you know the direction. If you're adding things or changing things, you're knowing in real time, okay, this is going to affect the budget this way. It's going to raise or lower it. And so that you can make educated decisions on how you want to add that to the design, or do you want to hold off? And we work through those with our clients every day.
So I know we had a very good experience with Mike and building his forever home that we just finished up. But I know his process or how he got to us was not a very good ordeal for Mike. And I think this was his third custom home. And I know that the last time he really felt like that was going to be his forever home. And he realized relatively quickly once the construction started that it wasn't going to be his forever home.
Cost him more money, and he really wasn't getting the home that he wanted.
Yeah, and that was probably his biggest thing is that really after he got to the point where he realized that the builder that he had selected, which we know was a pretty well-known builder in our area. And they, through their sales process, convinced him that he was getting everything he wanted, the custom trim, the custom tile work, all the things that were really important to him.
That sounds great on paper, but the reality was different, right?
And what did when he went out there to start discussing these things after the framing had finished, the project manager said, I don't know why the salesperson would ever tell you that.
So no review of the drawings, no back and forth with the designer or seeing how the plans were coming together, which is something we constantly do. We're getting feedback, sending that over to our clients to say, you know, how is this floor plan laying out for the way you see this house coming together.
And one interesting thing that I took away from his conversation, well, many things, but that really when he selected a plan that they semi-customized for him. And what he realized was that, well, not only were they not doing it, but they really weren't capable of doing it. They didn't have subs, they didn't have people on staff that were able to truly customize those drawings. And then not only were the drawings not complete, like you said, but they didn't have anybody on the job that could even do what he wanted to have done. So they had no intentions of really building that house that he wanted. So I know he finished the house. He said, finish up. And then he hired another contractor to come in and try to customize. And I know he spent upwards of, I believe it was $400,000-$500,000
on top of
to try to get the house that he wanted. And yes, and ultimately, not only did he not even get the house he wanted, but he ended up spending way more than what he had anticipated because he had to get it, let's say, closer to what he wanted. And I know the room sizes weren't the right sizes, and he ended up having to redo his offices and things. And it was just a real unfortunate situation because he really felt like he had done all the right steps. He had asked the right questions. This wasn't his first home, and he had done many renovations on his first home before he built his first custom home. So he felt like he had a lot of experience. So it wasn't like he didn't know what to say, because that first custom home he did, he really didn't get much of what he wanted. So he really had a list when he went to this builder and really investigated them to try to find out who could build a truly custom home, his forever home. And he still ended up with these results, which we know it's hard if you're not in the industry to know every single question to ask, which is why we try to make it as easy as possible to understand what we are doing, what the steps we take, what our complete process is before we start doing anything.
And the bottom line is that's what he then had in his investment range, his budget price.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, that was a budget buster to spend another $400,000-$500,000 on getting the home that you want. It's just insane.
And still not even getting the home we want, which is really which is why he reached out to us.
Yeah.
And I know we had, I think it was just a quick Zoom with him initially. And I know he pretty much stopped us about 10 minutes into that and said, I can tell you guys are exactly what I'm looking for, just by the answers that we gave him about the landscaping and some of the ideas that we had for some of the rooms that he wanted to do. He knew right off the bat that we were designing that house for him. Not for ourselves, not for what we thought would look good. We were going to design what he wanted.
Truly, our clients are part of the design team. Again, we're constantly getting feedback of, are we designing in the right direction? Is this the home that you're seeing, your forever home, your family living in this space? And you can't build it what I consider a forever home without getting that feedback. So that's saving money right there, because you're streamlining, you're going for the
Yes.
design that you want. And as we've seen occasionally, as it's coming together, we're building the project. As we're walking through with our clients, they're saying, you know what? Maybe this room could be a little bit bigger. Or what if we move this window over? Things are gonna come up. That you're seeing in again in reality. And so again, we're there. We don't have to stop construction, and we're able to work through the design, work with our project manager that's on site.
Yep.
And be able to, again, the efficiency is there, so that's saving costs. And we're able to make those slight changes on the plan. Prime example was the fireplace and the view.
Yes.
That we were able to modify.
And I believe he wasn't even. He was not on that, that was not a walkthrough with him. I believe you and I and the project manager, Dave, were doing our weekly walkthrough, just making sure things are all happening the way that, you know, all of us envision. And I know we stopped and we looked out the expansive glass door panels, and we said, wait a minute, we're looking right at the fireplace rather than the backyard. And I know right then we did a quick video, said, let's move it over to here. I know you came back, did some sketches. We put it all right on to Bill Trent, sent it over. He got a notification on his phone. He saw the video that we did. He saw the quick sketch that you made and said, absolutely.
Yeah.
But what was his first question? What is this going to cost me? And we said nothing, because we haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
We're sitting here, we're looking at what's going to happen the next week, and that was framing up the fireplace and finishing out the screen porch. And he's like, so this isn't costing me anything, and you're essentially doing an upgrade for me, because now I'm getting what I wanted, which is that view out the back.
Absolutely.
So he couldn't have been happier with that. Going back to one of the first questions that we presented, which is, you know, does Winthrop really cost more? And when you look at the pricing, the preliminary pricing, we typically are more expensive than other builders. In this case with Mike, we were the only builder, so there was no one else to compare pricing to. But what he realized quickly was, now we did start the process with helping him find his lot, which sometimes we have people that come to us that have already purchased a lot, or I know people have houses that they're living in and that we end up tearing down and putting their forever home on that lot because they love where they are. And then other times they see just a rundown house in the neighborhood and they reach out to us. But
That we can build on that one.
exactly. And then I think one of the things that we're able to do so that they know what all the costs are is that we're able to take them through that whole feasibility study. We know what the counties are requiring. We know what is really available to do in certain areas, and we're familiar with a lot of the HOAs. So we're able to pretty much give them a good, I'll say, cost range estimate of what it should be as we move forward with what they've told us in usually a week or two, so that they know either to pursue that lot, or, you know what, we already own that lot, but maybe we change the design of the house, either making it larger or smaller to fit what their actual budget is.
And the working relationship that we have with our engineers, structural, civil engineers, surveyors, the county, and knowing the codes, we can streamline all of that, and like you said, get them answers a lot quicker and get better accurate numbers for the projects. And that's key.
And you know, one of the things that I know that that Mike asked initially was, you know, what are the upfront fees. How does everything start? And one of the things that we do is we do charge for a design fee. And we really do it for two reasons, is because we're doing a lot of, it's not just the design that they're getting. Really, that's minimal. It's, is that design gonna work? Is it gonna work in their budget? We're thinking through a lot of the structural things on the very first preliminary drawing that's done. How are the beams going in? How is the egress out of the house in the back? If you just start by designing, like an architect or a designer may do, okay, so now I've drawn this, and you say, yep, I like it. Okay, well, now let me go figure out if we can even do it,
Then it needs to be modified to fit on that lot.
or fit in their budget.
Yeah,
You know, and so it's like, we're taking all that into account, so that when we present something to you, it's gonna work. It's now, do you wanna modify it some? Do you wanna change how it is? You know, and we do all that, but what we're presenting each time is gonna work in your investment level. And most other, I'll say architects and designers are not really thinking budget. They may throw out a square foot number, which I always say when someone gives you a square foot number, what is
Yeah,
included
what
in
gets
this?
to that,
What
yeah.
is included? Do you even know what type of different things, how they want to live in that house? You know, do they want custom cabinetry where we know in a kitchen, we've done custom cabinetry in kitchens that cost 300,000. But we also know that you can do, you know, the same kitchen, not with custom cabinetry, for 60, 70,000. So it's what exactly are you looking for? And then we work towards that investment level that you're comfortable with. And I think a lot of designers and architects are really just, they're designing, they're using square foot numbers, and then, oh, this isn't gonna work because now we've sent it out to bid. So now you're paying them again to redraw. And it's like, okay, where all these costs are just adding up as you move down the process with that, if you don't go design build. And that's why we really emphasize the design build.
or imagine you're trying to get your custom home, the home of your dreams. And you're given A and B options for
Yeah.
cabinets or flooring, or worse. The set of plans that maybe has, you could do a different kind of bathroom, but it's set in that layout, and that's it. That's not what we're doing here. We're truly customizing floor plans for the layout, and again, the way that you envision the space and the way that your family lives.
And I know one, Craig, this just kind of came into my mind because I spoke to Mike just recently, and the one thing that he said to me was, is, you didn't even tell me that there was going to be a project manager on the job every day. And I know that we get so caught up in getting the design, and we get excited about their project and everything. I know we don't always do the best sales of Winthorpe, and all the things that we include, the things that are our standards during construction, our standards with our subs. But one of the things that Mike said to me was, yeah, I showed up there, and I met Dave and everything, and I thought he was just swinging by
Happy to
for
be
his
there.
20 minutes, and I just happened to be getting there. And then I realized, no, he's here every day on my job, making sure that the things that we've discussed, which is also part of the thing that we do a little bit differently, is we have the project manager in with the initial meeting before construction even starts with the client, so that everyone hears the same thing. And Mike, he couldn't be happier, because then he realized that, you know, not only can he reach out to us, but he can reach out to Dave and shoot him some pictures and get ideas and things like that. So it was a bonus, because I know that on that last custom build that he did, he felt like that was a second full-time job for him, because he felt like he needed to catch all the things. And I know that there was a comfort level knowing that somebody was there that was looking out for him and trying to, make sure that everything was being done uh, to what we had talked about in the plans.
That is truly one of the key parts. Again, our process. That's part of our process.
Yeah.
Having that on-site management, having that communication, like you mentioned, that he had someone to go to and discuss how the project was going, what he was seeing, and talk about it as part of the team. So it's important to get that feedback.
It is. And like I said, we should do a better job of really explaining all the things that we do. And I think we've gotten a lot better at it. Of course, it's taken us we've been doing design build for almost 18 years now. So we'll get there someday. We'll include everything that we actually do. But right now, yes, a lot of times people find out as things are going on, oh, you do these type of shower pans, or I didn't realize you
The
use
little
zip
things.
and all these other
I know.
things. Yeah.
The other thing he was impressed with was the quality of the trades that were out working on the job site.
100%.
And again, that goes back to our efficiency, our process. That we work with trades for years. We have this excellent relationship. And they know what we expect of them, and they know that this is going to be a unique project. It's not just I'm building the same house, same house, same house.
Yeah.
It's, you know what, this is truly a custom home. And this is what is called for on the designs and the plans, and this is what we're going to do, and they're on board.
And just to add on to that point, Mike said to me, really on his last two builds, but he said, typically I had to go to the sub and explain, this is what I wanted, or I want to add this on to that. He was just impressed with the knowledge that we have, that Dave has, that all of our project managers have, of the understanding of what needs to be done. So it's not like we're just listening to our subs, even though we do, but we're all working to come up with the best design, the best run for the ductwork, not the easiest run, but the best run that's going to make it not only efficient in the house, but also aesthetically pleasing. So, and we're not just cutting through, a transom above a door, because that's the easiest way for the duct to run. We're saying no, we're going to pop it up into here. No, we're going to run it down here or whatever, so that it gives the best look in the room too.
Getting input from the experience of the trades,
Yep.
our project manager, ourselves, and again, tying in with the client's expectations and their view, and pulling it all together. It takes a little bit of time, maybe,
Yep.
to stop things and look and discuss and work through that. But we're doing it in real time, so it's really streamlining ultimately the project, getting the results that everyone's looking for.
And we know Mike, he did add some things on after we started. I mean, we ended up doing an auxiliary garage and a number of other things that made his semi-smart home into really a full smart home. And one of the things that he said to me was, and not just during this part of the process, but really the whole process, is that we really helped him financially to understand where he was compared to other homes in the neighborhood, where he was total on that project, his total investment, and sort of what made sense in things that he was adding. Because I know he asked several times, do you really think this makes sense to add this on? For Mike, it wasn't much. It wasn't as much of a financial issue, but he just didn't want to be the most expensive home in that neighborhood, which we always help. And he was really, I'll say, surprised that a builder was really looking out for his best interest financially, not just, yes, let's just do this, let's add this on. You know, we looked at it as a whole, really from his perspective, more so than it was from our perspective, which was, oh, it's just additional work or whatever, you know. And so he was really happy. And then one last thing I'll add to that is that the last builder was, not only would they not do most of the things he wanted, but they also wouldn't really add anything. I don't know if they didn't really have the knowledge to add that, but also we start on this date and we finish on this date. And
they're moving on to the next project.
that's all they're looking at. The quicker we get this done. Now, we did have a pretty strict deadline with Mike, but ultimately we were still able to add all these additional things and finish on time. And yes, it was, we rearranged schedules. We had more people out there working at the same time, but it allowed us to have him add things without having to move that completion date.
And one important thing is we're building not just houses, but we're building a relationship, and our relationship was with him. You're talking about dealing with Scott and myself through all these day-to-day operations and building this home. And the important part is that we're making sure that this relationship is working for our clients. And so we will do what it takes. If it is a few extra days, we want to make sure that we're building the right project for the homeowner.
And I think one of the best compliments he gave us at the end is that this is truly my forever home. Yes, it took him to his third home, but he's going to be there for, he says, 30, 40, 50 years. And that really says, it makes us feel good as a company that we, not only did we design the house, he was satisfied with the house. And for him to say, well, to go out of his way to tell us that he really, he finally got his forever home. And that really, it says a lot for not only what we do on the construction side, but on the design side, and just our communication through the whole process.
The entire project.
Yeah. So I guess really in conclusion of this discussion that we're having for this master class is, so does Winthorpe really cost more? At the end of the day, no, we don't. We are more cost effective, I feel, than any other design build firm that we've come up with. And we've been doing this for over 32 years, and we've been building homes and doing renovations. And really, when we see the numbers that others are giving and what they haven't included, we know that we're truly the best value out there.
Absolutely. You're getting the complete package. And like you said, the communication, the oversight, the management and cost tracking, all of the items that are in our system will allow you to get that home in an investment range that's comfortable and that you're looking for, and no surprises.
Yeah. Complete ownership of the project from beginning to end. When there's any questions, anyone to talk to, no one's telling you, oh, you need to go talk to the architect. No, you need to go talk to this person. You talk to us.
Yep.
You talk to the project manager, you talk to Craig or myself, and that's really how we do design build here at Winthorpe.
So please reach out to us, email, or on our website we have a contact form. Please fill that out and we can start talking about what your vision is for your new home. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching.